So the reason that I'm interested in permaculture is because I think that what we're creating as permaculturists is a society based on horticulture rather than on agriculture. And what I mean by that is that, well, just looking at the word horticulture itself, it comes from the word plant. Hortus means plant, whereas ager, the root of agriculture, means field. So as horticulturists, we're plant tenders rather than field makers. And that gives you a whole different relationship with the landscape, right? We're not transforming landscapes to look the way we want them to. We're working with plants to help them. So just to put that simply, a horticultural society means gardeners rather than farmers. We use small-scale tools rather than landscape-modifying tools like plows. We tend to work on a small scale, and we have polycultures rather than monocultures. And horticulturalism encourages the process of succession, which means that the development of landscapes to be more mature. Agriculture really sets succession back, right? You're just annually clear-cutting the landscape back to ground zero every year, whereas in a natural landscape, it evolves over time and gets more complex and richer and more interesting. And that means the next point here is that in a horticultural society, the ecosystems still function. We still have natural semi-wild ecosystems and all the things that wild ecosystems do, such as bringing in clean water and clean air, attracting wildlife, building soil, building fertility, all the great things that ecosystems do, as well as having something, a place for us. And also just something socially that happens in horticultural societies is that the hierarchies are much flatter. It turns out that in these sorts of societies, everyone has pretty ready access to whoever the leaders are, and the leaders are not that far removed from just the regular folks. The hierarchies are much, much flatter. So those are some of the benefits of a horticultural society as opposed to an agricultural society. And I think of permaculture really as being a way to have a horticultural-based society instead of an agricultural society, and one that allows us to coexist and actually get our sustenance from something that's much more like a wild ecosystem than the type of farmlands that we have now. So we have a lot of things going on in this culture, right? I mean, we've got global warming happening. We have toxic waste that we don't know how to dispose of. We have peak oil. We have an increasing cost of energy resources. And we've got a huge degradation of the landscape in terms of soil erosion. And this says to me that there's a certain sense of urgency. That we need people who can go out and get on the ground and actually help transform the degraded landscapes that we have and return them back into a natural and more productive form. So I feel this great sense of urgency that we need boots on the ground right now. And that's exactly what this program is about. We want to get started, get people out there, not just doing design work, but also going out and working in the landscape and also learning how to make a livelihood to actually have businesses and help others in their businesses and earn a living at this kind of thing. So let's take a look at a few of the projects that I've been involved in that are related to these things. This is a food forest that's right out on the street in Portland, Oregon. It's on a busy street, 12th Avenue, and it's actually architect Mark Lakeman's office. He's the founder of the really wonderful organization, City Repair. And what Mark has done is he's put a food forest right out on the street, an edible landscape with edible shrubs, edible trees that have fruit, and all kinds of edible greens and vegetables out there. And anyone can come and pick it. That's one of the nice things that Mark has done. This is out in public. It looks beautiful. This is not your typical urban landscape. So city street food forests are another potential, a project that we have going on a lot. This public food forest, this is one of the nation's very first public food forests that's in Seattle on Beacon Hill. And this design came out of a permaculture design course that a really wonderful woman named Jenny Pell ran a few years ago, where at the end of the course, students are supposed to come up with a design project that they then present to the class, just as a design project, not as something that's been implemented. But this project looked so great, this idea of a public food forest, and they'd actually gotten a lot of input and support from the proposed neighborhood, Beacon Hill, that it was supposed to go into. that they decided, okay, let's actually go out and make this a reality. Let's go out and talk to the neighborhood and talk to the city and look at the site and see if we can get a public food forest going. And that is now what's been created. They've planted trees, they've broken ground, and it's one of the largest, it is the largest public food forest in the nation now. And it's enjoyed, even though it's very young right now, it's enjoyed by hundreds of people, a really ethnically diverse community, and it's engaging people in a living landscape that can help support them. This is a project right here in Sebastopol, and it's one that has been designed and installed partly with the help of volunteers, but the main design was done by Eric Olson, who is my main co-instructor for this course, and his business, Permaculture Artisan. And I want to show this to you because it's an example of, well, several things. One is it's not just a private landscape, and it's great to be doing private homeowner landscape work, but this is out in public. And it shows that you can engage with city government, with public officials, and get public input and do these really amazing projects out on public land or city-owned land where the city is supporting this kind of work. The city is supporting livelihood for permaculture artisans and the others involved. There's a huge volunteer base that's helping out with this project. And it's a cutting-edge design. It's not your standard roll out the grass and plant rhododendrons design. It's food forests, it's native plant gardens, it's plants that are important to the indigenous peoples of this area. So it's a really innovative design that the city here is supportive of. So this is just typical of the kinds of things that you can do as an ecological landscape designer. This is another project here in Sonoma County that's out at the county jail, where a permaculture design course that I was involved in proposed as a design project to redo a garden out at the jail and to expand it and to engage both the inmates and the staff at the jail in garden design and in a permaculture project. And we just assumed that it was probably going to be a design-only project, but it turns out that the jail officials and the garden coordinators at the jail were really interested in this. So it's going ahead, and it's going to be installed as a project working at the Sonoma County Jail Industries. So this is, again, the kind of reach that these sorts of projects, that permaculture design courses and the design projects that come out of them have. And it shows that these aren't just fantasy designs, that they actually get out into the real world. So I'm taking this now to the Permaculture Skills Center. Here are just some of the scenes from our 5-acre site here just off Highway 116 in Sebastopol. And it's got a large solar array so that we're generating quite a bit of our own power here. It's got a set of gardens. It's a beautiful piece of land here in the Laguna de Santa Rosa, which is the main confluence of the watershed here. Lush soil that's being improved by the techniques here. So this is the actual site, the main location for the Ecological Landscaper Immersion Program, although we will also be going to a lot of other sites in the area. There are a lot of animals here on site. There's chickens, and you can see this chicken tractor boat here that was designed by a group of local folks. We have llamas and alpacas. We've got sheep. And so we're doing land management using animals, rotational grazing, and showing how the animals can actually be used to build and enhance the soil rather than degrade the landscape. So we have hands-on demonstrations of healthy animal management here. And there's a lot of equipment involved in Eric Olson's Permaculture Artisans business that's located here at the Permaculture Skills Center. And that's part of the program in the Eco Landscaper training is you'll learn design, you'll learn about hardscape and irrigation systems, but you'll also be learning about running heavy equipment. So you'll get hands-on experience at actually using the earth-moving and typical landscaping equipment. We also have a piece of equipment here called a keyline plow, which is a really outstanding piece of equipment that was designed in Australia for contouring landscapes so that it holds much more water, so that it holds both soil and water, and water will infiltrate into the soil. And it's a specialized piece of equipment. You don't see much, but Eric's got one here, and it's very valuable, and it's really capable of enhancing landscapes and building soil and holding water. So you'll be learning lots of skills having to do with equipment, surveying and mapping, earthworks, including pond building and large-scale drainage systems, irrigation systems, building swales. You'll be getting out on the equipment and using the equipment and learning the design skills to actually go out and build these sorts of things. As well as both the planting and the hardscaping skills here. We've got a young seed forest on the site, and so we'll certainly be doing kind of the obvious types of landscaping, learning how to install plants, learning about soil fertility, irrigation systems, cover cropping, mulching, compost building, all the basic sorts of skills for creating conditions for really happy vegetables and happy trees to be occurring by building up the plants, but also hardscaping, installing different types of paths, masonry and stonework we'll be learning as well. So we'll get both the soft end of landscaping and the hardscape end of landscaping. Plus, there are several types of livelihoods going on here. We're producing lots of food out of the garden here. There is a young CSA, Community Supported Agriculture, happening at the Skills Center that is getting a number of subscribers. We also have a small market stand here, a farm stand as well. So those are some of the types of production and livelihood going on. We also have several design businesses. Here, the Permaculture Skills Center really acts as a business incubator. Again, in keeping with the idea that not only should you be learning the skills of design and the skills of installation, but you really want to be learning the skills of how to run a business as well. And Eric and the rest of our instructors have been through the whole process of getting out there and being successful at running businesses and earning a livelihood. And we want to impart that so that people can go out and actually take care of themselves as entrepreneurs and as managers and run businesses. So what inspired us to create this program was both Eric and I have taught a lot of permaculture design courses. The 72-hour course, that's the standard permaculture course that's taught all over the world. And it is a terrific course. Everybody who takes it, myself included, feels that it's an utterly transformative experience that really changes your life. It's incredible, but there's a limited amount of hands-on experience that you can get in a 72-hour course. And it really doesn't teach business skills or livelihood. And those were the pieces that we felt that was missing from the 72-hour course. That we really wanted there's a lack there in the CDC for being able to teach people the actual hands-on skills to be able to go out into the world and do this stuff out on the ground and go out and know that you can be confident at doing it rather than going out and learning out on the job. In PDC, this wasn't enough. So that's really what inspired Eric and me and the others to create this program, to give people a full set of skills. Because people really want a hands-on training. People want to get out, learn how to do it, and go out so that when they enter the world as an entrepreneur or as a manager or a staff in an organization, they've already got the experience. They're not so much learning on the job, but they can constantly go out with a good set of skills in their pocket. And we believe in getting these techniques out there because the earth needs that, right? I mean, it's not just us who need livelihoods, but the planet needs landscapes that take care of humans, but also have a role for the rest of nature as well. And that's really what an ecological landscape is. It's a landscape that takes care of everybody, us and the rest of the planet. And those are the skills that we really want to share. So here we are. Here's some basic information on the program. It's here at the Permaculture Skills Center, the Ecological Landscaper Immersion Program. And we're really looking at training. It's perfectly good for landowners, people who want a good set of skills for working on their own land, but we're also looking at creating the next generation of ecological landscape designers. And it starts in June 2014, and here's our website, permacultureskillscenter.org.
Great. Thank you so much, Toby, for that great introduction, really giving us the context for why this is so needed. So again, my name is Erin Axelrod, and I'm going to go into a little bit more depth about sort of the nuts and bolts of the program. Toby mentioned a lot of what we will be covering in this program, and really I say we, but the lineup of instructors are people like Eric Olson, obviously, and landscapers that he's worked with, as well as folks from all over this area and throughout California. We've got John Valenzuela and Larry Santoyo, Penny Livingston, so many really, really fantastic permaculture designers and teachers are lined up to teach aspects of this course. And so obviously the landscape installation and maintenance piece is a key part of what we'll be teaching. We really want our students to walk away just feeling incredibly prepared to go out on the land, do the observation, visioning, and design pieces, and be able to produce really professional-looking, professional designs for their clients. We'll also be talking a little bit about access to land and different innovative ways to access land. There's everything from what Toby mentioned, the Beacon Hill food forest, to what Eric has been doing here in Sebastopol. There's so many different places in our communities that we can be farming and producing food right here, right now. And so we're really going to ask our students to be innovative and think about how they might plug in that way. Equipment operations, contractors law, licensing and permits. And then this business planning piece is so exciting for us. We have a business coach who actually, the business coaching begins as soon as you enroll in this program. So we've got 11 students signed up, and they are already going to be receiving a questionnaire and really starting to think about how they want to craft a business, how they want to craft their livelihood around permaculture, and what support we can provide for them with this program. Our business coach is going to be tailoring his coaching individually to the needs of the students, and each student will leave this course with a business plan, and that'll look however it'll look for that student, whatever works for them, but it will be a clear plan with next actions to get them to start their business. Students will receive 450 hours of instruction and hands-on experience. So thank you to the person who asked about whether this is an online program or not. This is in person. It's Thursday and Friday here in Sebastopol. And that's really what we see as a huge value to this program, is that students will be working at a site with Eric, working at this 5-acre site as well as sites all around Sonoma County to get the hands-on experience that they need to be effective in their career. Like I mentioned, the one-on-one business coaching is another key part of the training. And project management and client relations training is so key to what makes an effective business owner, an effective manager. Really, the interpersonal skills is something that we want to cultivate and emphasize in this program, and it will be starting with the cohort of students. You know, really building the relationship among students in this program. And I'd imagine that some of our students will want to go into business together after graduating this course because they'll have that existing relationship. The Permaculture Design Consultant Certificate. So for those folks who have not gone through the 72-hour PDC course, they will, well, everyone will get an additional 72-hour permaculture design certificate. And then folks who already have their PDC, we're happy to work with them to work on their permaculture diploma, which is a certification awarded by the Permaculture Institute of the U.S. And both Toby and Eric are certified to award those permaculture diplomas. So kind of look at it as a master's in permaculture, if you will, and a lot of people are really excited about that aspect of this course. The Qualified Water Efficient Landscaper certification is pretty much the most widely respected certification for water efficiency in California. And that is something that is very critical, especially given the drought that California is facing. And we really want to equip our students with the tools and skills to be very, very mindful stewards of our water resources. There's a lot here on this 5-acre site that it demonstrates water efficiency and appropriate use of our water resources, and that will be a strong emphasis throughout the training. The Ecological Landscaper Certificate of Training is sort of the overarching certificate for this program. And this is our inaugural year of the program. So we're so excited for this cohort of students to be the pioneers in doing something that we feel is so essentially needed right now at this point in time. And this certificate, we hope to build its reputation and potentially at some point get it accredited as well. And certainly Toby and Eric and all of our guest instructors already have such an incredible track record of installing really beautiful systems on the ground. And I like to think of it as sort of a way that we can kickstart our students' careers by imparting, what amounts to decades and decades of knowledge from our instructors that we've got lined up for this course. So the logistics, like I mentioned, this is a Thursday and Friday course. It happens weekly, and it's starting June 12th. So we have broken it up into 3 modules. And so the majority of our students are taking all 3 modules. However, there are a handful of folks that are also going to just take the modules individually. So if it's more within the realm of possibility for you to take just one section, we'd welcome you to contact us. You can reach Adam, and his email is there in the chat window, and we'll leave you with his email at the end of this presentation as well. And the times are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And really, the next action here is if you are interested in this program, if this sparks your interest, if you're lit up and inspired and you feel like this might be the right fit for you, contact us ASAP. Your deposit to secure the early bird fee is get it in before April 1st. So contact us as soon as possible if this course feels like the right course for you. We are really so excited about this course, and just given the demand and the response, we really want to hear from you as soon as possible so that we make sure we can reserve you a spot. And then we have gotten a lot of requests for scholarships and financial aid, and while the general scholarship deadline has passed, there are still a few ways to attend this course more affordably, and I want to go into those now. So we are still awarding partial to full scholarships on a rolling basis for the following people. We want to have a really well-balanced gender balance in this course. And so we're particularly looking for more women who'd like to join us. That's really recognizing that the health of a community is really determined by equity in the community, and wanting to make sure that it's not just men that are designing the landscapes that we all benefit from. So wanting women to be involved just as much as men. People of color and indigenous peoples, populations that have historically been marginalized from the permaculture community. Please get in touch with us if you have links to any of those communities and would like to brainstorm with us ways we can better outreach to those people who really can benefit from this curriculum and this training. And then we're still working out work trades, so if that seems like it might be a fit for you, please contact us. And this is one of the most exciting pieces that we really could use your support spreading the word. We are looking at getting a free attendance to all modules for someone who is passionate about permaculture and who has experience with videography and photography. That same person, Andrew, who asked about the online resources that will be made available, that will be the role of our videographer and photographer, and as well as we have some other videographers that have been working with us to this point. You may have seen those YouTube videos with Eric and Toby that are on our YouTube channel. But we're really looking for someone who would be inspired and excited to plug in with us in that way. So if you know of somebody, or if you are that someone, if that describes you, if you have expertise in that realm, please get in touch with us. And then if you're ready to enroll and you want to spread the wealth even further and really make it possible for someone else who might not have the economic means to attend, please do get in touch with us. We'd love to offer you the opportunity to bring them along for free with your enrollment, because we really recognize that not everyone is in a financial position to afford the entire fee, but we want to make this curriculum accessible to everyone. And then we've been hearing from a lot of folks, particularly folks that already have a very established career and are not particularly wanting to make a dramatic career shift, but want to support the next generation of land stewards. Can I sponsor a student? Can I participate in that way? So if you can sponsor a student, we'd love to hear from you, and you can contact me for more info. So here's the tuition. Before April 1st, which is coming up, gosh, in about a week or so, maybe a little, yeah, about a week, the tuition is $10,000, and before June 1st, standard registration is $11,000. So we really want to encourage you to reach out to us soon. It'll save you $1,000. And we do have payment plans. So that has made it possible for a lot of our students that are currently enrolled that might not otherwise be able to come, and minimal fee for that payment plan. Here's just a testimonial that you can see for yourself of a longtime partner with Eric Olson. So next steps. Really, we will have this webinar recorded and we'll post it on our YouTube channel. There's also a recording of Eric Olson's webinar that we did last month. If this curriculum speaks to you, or you know of people that it would speak to, please go ahead and share the links to these webinars and spread the word, and use our permaculture forums to spread the word about this program. Help us that way. And then if you're ready to take the plunge and dive in and join us, contact us before April 1st so we can get started down the path of supporting you to be effective land stewards and really kickstart your career in permaculture. So now I want to turn it over to Toby, and I will chime in and answer questions as well. But feel free to use the chat window to your left to ask questions of Toby and myself. what haven't we answered yet about this program? What can we answer for you? Thank you again, too, for spending this time with us. And I really appreciate the questions that have been asked so far, particularly around accessibility to the content. And I mentioned we're really trying to get this content out there as much as possible. Maybe I'll talk while people are thinking of their questions. I'd like to talk a little bit just about who's already enrolled in this program, and maybe that gives you a bit of a sense of what we're trying to do. We've got several students that have recently graduated from high school and are enrolling in this course as an alternative to a four-year college, because they really feel the call to begin working on the ground right away in restoring the land. And that's just so exciting to me to see that happening with our young generation. A couple other people that are enrolled, we've got people enrolled from the East Bay. We've got one person coming from Santa Cruz that's enrolled and really has the desire to take what they learn in this upcoming program, and implement potentially a similar training program in their community in Santa Cruz. So another way to think about it is how do we make a really effective replicable curriculum that can then be shared with other established permaculture organizations in other communities to really get people thinking about how permaculture is a pathway to employment. It is a viable career option. It's not something that you just have to do on your weekend or after hours. So Andrew has a really great point about, how can we expand this to the Phoenix metro area or other areas across the country that really could benefit from having a similar curriculum. And I'll just say that we have been in conversation with people from many different communities to talk about ways that we can bring this as a replicable curriculum to other areas. So that is a whole part of the design. So Toby, it doesn't look like we've got a lot of questions coming in. I wonder if you have any other thoughts that you want to mention that we haven't covered.
Well, let's see. Yeah, I think what Erin has said about trying to make this accessible in other formats, the design portion of it can obviously be done online, as well as a lot of the business end of things. The main part that is challenging for us are the actual hands-on portions of the course. So once we are able to establish relationships with people in other areas that we feel can handle the hands-on, the equipment running, the installing pads and other types of hardscapes, and all of those sorts of things, irrigation systems. Once we develop those partners, then we do plan on trying to make this available in other areas, because I understand that it's pretty limiting for people to need to come to Sonoma County. We are mostly working with folks in the Bay Area, but there are people from a lot of other places that are coming to attend this course. So it's definitely doable, and we're helping place people, finding them places to live, and even trying to give whatever help we can to for folks who need to be earning a living while they're taking the course. So we're working on a bunch of different avenues to try and make it more widely available and to replicate this so they can go out elsewhere. We're going to get the first year under our belt and learn from that, and then get it out into a larger community. We also had a question here about the Quell certification, and I know that's been somewhat answered, but the Quell was a program that was proposed to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, to the EPA, as part of their water sense program, which is another certification. And Quell has qualified as recognized by the EPA as a nationally certified program in water management. So it's not just for the state of California. It's recognized by the federal government and thus by all of the states. There are 12 programs and 12 certification programs in many other states besides California. So it's good elsewhere. If you come from someplace else, your Quell certification will be good wherever you get back to.
Seeing no other questions, I want to also ask the question of you. How does this fit with you? Does this fulfill a need? Andrew mentioned there's a real need to get this here in his community of Phoenix. We'd love to hear from you. What is needed from your community perspective? And does this fulfill that? Certainly, we've been hearing such positive response that this is very needed, and we want to be responsive to the needs of the permaculture community. I also wanted to just comment, and maybe I'll keep going through some slides here. Here are some of Eric's landscaping projects. When Toby was discussing the Sebastopol City Hall project, he really emphasized, rightly so, that what we're trying to cultivate here with this program and what we're training our students to think about is how to get permaculture out there in innovative ways to reach the largest amount of people. And certainly an effective landscaping company is one of the primary leverages to do so. I recently had the privilege to hear Jeff Lawton speak, and he talked about catalyzing the permaculture tipping point. So referencing Malcolm Gladwell's work on the tipping point and talking about how a tipping point is reaching 12 to 18% of the population. And that's really incredibly important that we think about as a permaculture community, that we think about how we can come together and be most effective to get permaculture out there, educate the largest number of people. The Sebastopol project that Eric actually we just broke ground on Saturday is one really effective way to do that, because we had over 60 people out there on Saturday working at City Hall, installing a permaculture landscape that will live on for decades to come and have signage to educate a big amount of people. And the other piece I'd like to underscore is this aspect of beauty and really making it beautiful. We don't have time for kind of half-done permaculture landscapes. We need them to be so beautiful and enticing that it immediately brings in people that otherwise would never even think of permaculture as a viable design method for their home or business or public park. And so we'll really be teaching that at all levels, how to respond to the client's needs and create beautiful and enticing designs that really bring people in. This is an example of it's a picture taken in the middle of the installation process. So this is not fully built out yet, but it shows you the sort of terracing and hardscape and water harvesting. There's a big swale contouring down this one terrace that we'll be teaching, and how to do it safely and effectively. And work in partnerships. You know, one thing that's really clear is ecology is ecosystems are inherently collaborative. It actually takes too many resources for ecosystems to compete. So ecosystems tend to be more collaborative, rely on relationships, and the same can be said for our human ecosystems, right? The more we can collaborate with professional engineers, city governments, city officials, big, or not big necessarily, but small to mid-sized businesses, and larger businesses to get these designs implemented at all levels of our society. This is an old Permaculture Skills Center. Let's create another site. And this is ponds and water features are very, very core to what Eric teaches. Oh, great question. So thank you, Tom, from San Francisco. What kind of support, if any, will be available to participants after completion of the ELI? So thank you so much for this question, Tom. And certainly there will be after graduation, after completion of the ELI, there will be about 6 to 8 months of continued mentorship and support from Eric and Toby. But the other piece that we're looking at is actually an alumni network where ELI graduates from the previous year go ahead and mentor incoming ELI students, as well as plug in and contribute to projects at the Permaculture Skills Center. So like Toby mentioned, the Permaculture Skills Center is sort of a hub of activity. We've got a U-Pick flower farm, U-Pick strawberry farm, the silva pasture, the animal husbandry, the CSA. And so there's really multifaceted different ways to engage in the businesses that are being incubated here on site. And so whether it'll really depend on the student how they'd like to engage and continue their learning with the Permaculture Skills Center, but we really hope this to be, like any good, well-designed system, a perennial relationship. And that really is where I think the biggest strength is in getting your foot in the door early on at this inaugural year of this program and working really intimately with some of the top teachers in the permaculture realm. Toby, you have any thoughts to say to add on to that?
Yeah, we will definitely be offering continued mentorship. I mean, that's just part of the deal with anyone who takes a course from me. If I just consider myself available to them formally, 6 to 8 months after the program ends. But really, that's, as far as I'm concerned, to be ongoing. And we also hope to have access to business coaches as well, so that you can get some continued mentoring just on the business side if that's what you need.
So Andrew has another great question. What would I need to do in order to get this curriculum to Phoenix? And what we are encouraging people from other communities to do first is find a way to send someone from your community to attend this course. I know that sounds like a lot, but we've got folks relocating here from North Carolina. We've got folks relocating from Seattle to join us for this course. And really, a lot of people are coming here for the location because Northern California and the Bay Area in particular is such a hot spot for permaculture activity. We've got opportunities to be working at the level of our regional parks and implementing permaculture food forests there. We are working at all levels of the school system to get permaculture into our school, our educational systems. And of course, at City Hall, we're a 9-city county, and 2 of those 9 cities have permaculture food forests at City Hall. So it's really a right place to learn about not just the implementation, but the social factors at play, and how do we really build the community, build that tipping point to have the community engaged in these solutions. So, long answer to your question, if you have someone that you can send as sort of an ambassador from your community to this program, and we'd be glad to work with you on crowdfunding and Kickstarter campaigns to get them out here, that would be a first step. As we go through this program, we will create replicable curriculum and processes that we can then share with other communities, but we really don't know how many years that will take to get that to a replicable place where we can share that with other communities. So the first step would be come join us this year, and let's go from there.
And there's something specifically about Phoenix. I've lived in Prescott for a year and have taught in Phoenix. At the Valley Permaculture Alliance, the DPA is their main permaculture organization, and they have terrific resources. They're really, really good at fundraising. They're one of the most professional, almost corporate permaculture organizations in the country. And if you're not already in contact with them, the Valley Permaculture Alliance is really an unbelievable organization. And they might even, I mean, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but they might even be able to pull off funding for sending somebody because they're really, really good fundraisers and terrifically well organized. So just specifically with Phoenix, which could use it, that might be a way to connect somebody up with the Ecological Landscaper Immersion Program.
Great, thank you, Toby. So it looks like we're just about wrapping up, and I want to close because I want to make sure we close right on time and get you back to doing your world-changing work. Again, I so appreciate you all spending the time with us today. Here's just a slide with some of the links and resources. So we've got our website, permacultureskillscenter.org. Please like us on Facebook as well. You can go to facebook.com Permaculture Skills Center. And then we are also collecting local jobs because this is a Thursday, Friday course. We are also helping people who are out-of-towners come to the area and find jobs to do when they're outside the course, as well as we're offering work trades to work on site here. There's a couple other resources. One is Crop Mobster, as well as farmsreach.org, and both of those are great resources to look into if you want to just start doing your own research about which sort of permaculture, farming, housing, and job opportunities are available in this area. So next steps. Help us by spreading the word. You can go to our website and get lots more information and share that link with anybody that you might think of that would be interested in this program. If you're ready to register, please get in touch with us as soon as possible in the next couple of days so we can get you registered by April 1st. And then consider sponsoring a student. Consider using your financial resources to make a difference in someone else's life. Thank you so much, and without further ado, I think we'll sign off now, and this entire recording will be up in the next couple of days on our YouTube channel. And if you're ready to spread the word right now, go ahead and go onto our YouTube channel, and you can just Google Eric Olson, Permaculture Artisan Network YouTube channel, and you can find our previous webinar that we recorded last month and spread the word with that. So thanks again. Thank you so much for joining us, and we can't wait to hear from you, and looking forward to a really successful program starting this June.
All right, thanks very much. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to seeing as many of you as possible with this program, and again, a big hello to all of you who I know from previous courses. Thanks very much, and goodbye.